said that. Thank you. I'm doing good. Thank you. I light up every time I'm around people. I learned a lot about myself over the years. I am definitely a people person, but more specifically, a young people person, because I just feel some type of energy when I'm around young people, which is why I spent 16 years in the education system. I was having fun, you know, and empowering kids at the same time. So I appreciate you guys being in here. I did not realize this was gonna be like separate sessions. So, but I'm glad, because I was concerned that, you know, my talk was gonna be a little bit longer than 15 minutes because I divided up the time. So, but the good thing is that I have a lot to share. I have a lot. So the first thing, the topic, building a $1 billion business. Now, first of all, I want to clarify, I have not yet built a $1 billion business myself. However, I've been in position to help others build their businesses, and the potential is right at the brink of the $1 billion. Okay, so I want to clarify that because I am a business owner, and I'm also a founder of a nonprofit organization. I'll talk a little bit about that as well. So, so first I want to say, I'll give my background because I don't think anybody in here knows anything about me. I am, of course, originally from Shreveport. I'm actually in between Houston and Shreveport. I just put a contract on the house last week. So I'm in the process of closing on a house in Shreveport now. So I'm excited because I'm ready. Yeah, thank you. I'm so ready. I'm tired of driving back and forth, you know, because every time I come to Shreveport, and I know we're not in Shreveport, I had to remember that we're not in Shreveport, we're in Orlando, but every time I go to Shreveport, I never want to leave because there's so many people I need to help. I try to fit in all of my, you know, my appointments and everything, and there's always somebody that is just tugging on my heart. I need to talk to that person. And let me back up. The main reason why some people tug on my heart is because I am purpose driven. I got on this road of what I'm doing, and I'm gonna share with you what I've been doing over the years, because I made an agreement with God. I said, okay. I was like, you know, He kept directing me in other paths rather than the path that I had chosen. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about that too. And I said, okay. After I kept bumping my head, and then He kept detouring me, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. Why would I do that? That doesn't make sense. So He said, no, this is what I put you here for. And so I said, okay, if I lock arms with you, you got me? And of course He said yes. I said, okay, let's do it. And that was literally my conversation within myself. You know, I have some interesting conversations with God, and I talk to Him like I talk to, you know, you or somebody on the phone. So with that being said, I went to Captain Shreve, right? Hey, that's what I'm saying. I didn't hear a lot of people who went to Captain Shreve yesterday, but yes, Captain Shreve. I went to Captain Shreve mainly because I didn't want to go to Fair Park, because I was raised in Queensboro. I was supposed to go to Fair Park, but I didn't want to go there because my dad taught there. I didn't want to go there. So I went to Captain Shreve, and I graduated in '89, and I asked Barrington, and I guess he didn't realize, I don't know if he realized that the two speakers yesterday were my classmates. Not only were they my classmates, Keisha was my best friend in high school. I haven't seen her in 20 years. You know, the last time I saw her, we were in our 30s, and we, you know, we're in a limo. We went out and, you know, celebrating, seeing each other again. And the crazy thing is that I come here, and there they are. And Anook and I, we actually had our sons a week apart. So I had my son 1 week, and we lived in the same subdivision in Houston. I had my son 1 week, and then I knew she was having her baby the next week, and I went up. I was tough. You know, a week after I had my baby, I was walking around I was determined to be fit, you know, the second pregnancy. So I went up to visit her. And so we built a great rapport in Houston over the years. So I just wanted to share that about Captain Shreve, because Captain Shreve was representing yesterday. All right, so with that said, I majored, when I left high school, I majored in veterinary medicine. Now, of course, I'm not doing that right now, but that's what I did. And I did that mainly because, you know, my father, we had cattle in Houghton, Louisiana. My grandfather had property out there, and my dad raised cattle, and we had horses. So on the weekends, I was a country girl. During the week, you know, I was just in the house because I couldn't go nowhere. I couldn't go to no party. I couldn't sleep over nobody's house. I couldn't go nowhere. So a lot of people ask me now, do you know this person? Do you know that person? I was like, I don't know nobody, because I couldn't go nowhere. I had strict parents. The only time I can go somewhere is if I was in a club. So I started joining all these clubs, and I started, you know, doing, I was playing basketball, of course, because basketball is in my family, but I was joining all these clubs, and then I'm the type person, I remember my grandfather, he would stand out on his back porch when we were out there taking care of the cattle and the horses and everything, and he would say, yell to my dad, he said, boy, what you got that girl out there doing that? She can't do that. He used to always, I was like, oh my God, he getting on my nerves, telling me what I can't do, or better yet, telling my father what I couldn't do. To this day, that's a trigger for me because when I hear that, that makes me want to do it more. You know what I mean? And especially something that you're aspiring to do that's going to help someone, and not only help someone, help you and your family. So that's just a little bit about my character, and that leads to what I'm going to talk about as far as building a billion-dollar business. So you have to be resilient. You cannot listen to the naysayers. You cannot listen to the naysayer in your head, because there's a naysayer in your head as well. So I did major in veterinary science, animal science. Right after I graduated, I decided that I said, you know what, I don't even want to do it anymore. My parents got divorced that same year. So it was, you know, when your parents get divorced, you kind of like, oh, everything is over. No support, I'm not gonna have it. And I didn't really need that much support. I had graduated, but that was the mindset. But I started out in oil and gas. So I was working at Exxon, and I had a lot of laboratory experience by the time I graduated. So I was working at Exxon, and then this class came to tour our lab. And I said, oh, and I lit up. Like I said, every time I'm around young people, I light up. So that was my first time, you know, but I had been substitute teaching during college. So when I saw it, I said, you know what, I'm gonna go see if I can get me a teaching job. So that's what I did. My first teaching job was at Scotlandville High School in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I was challenged with teaching geometry, calculus, and pre-cal. Now, my grades wasn't that good in college, especially in the math classes. But the principal asked me, he said, now, this position pays whatever it was, I forgot how much it paid, wasn't that much. Can you do it? I looked at the money, you know, on that paper. I said, yep. So what I had to do is I had to figure out a way to do it. So what I started doing, I started going to the math lab and getting tutored on Southern's campus, somewhere I should have been while I was in school, but I did it while I had this job. I would get tutored in the afternoon and go and teach in the day. And I did that so often. In Scotlandville, I don't know if you're familiar with Southern University in Baton Rouge, but Scotlandville is sitting right off of the tracks, right across from, like 5 minutes from Southern University. So it wasn't that far. So I would go and get tutored, and then I would be teaching in the day. I did it so often that I said, okay, I got this. To this day, I'm connected to 2 of those students that were in my class, and they shocked me because they say I was the best teacher they had. And I don't think it's because of what I taught them, specifically as far as math was concerned, but I cared about them enough to go and find out how to do it, and not only how to do the math, how to teach them how to do it, because there's a difference in knowing how to do something and being able to teach somebody how to do something. That's a different skill set. And so to this day, I'm still connected to those two individuals. One of them, her name is Tyra. She's a principal in Houston ISD. And the other one, Ken, he runs a very prominent nonprofit organization in Houston, and his wife is a judge, immigration judge. So they're very successful. But I'm saying that to say, this is what my journey is. And as you see, and I'm sharing some tidbits that help me build businesses, okay? Because before you build a $1 billion business, you have to build what? A business. How many of you have a business in here? Okay, good deal, good deal. So you know that it takes a lot of effort and a lot of know-how to build, to even start. A lot of people don't even know where to start. Secretary of State, IRS for your EIN. Got to get your DUNS number if you plan on getting any funding, right? Especially if you're a nonprofit organization, then you have a different path. 501c3, right? But you have to, after you get that, that's just structure. Now you have to figure out how and where you're going to make your money, right? So as I was talking about my journey, while I was teaching for 16 years, I was a GED coordinator, and I was challenged with the opportunity of setting up a GED class. This GED class had 0% graduation rate, and I was supposed to come in and make everything happen with nothing. They gave me nothing. So I went to the bookstore and got the GED book, right? So I said, okay, I'm gonna break it down and I'm gonna see, what I can do, who's in my class. I gotta figure out how they learn so that I can figure out how to teach them. Then the superintendent asked me to write a curriculum. I was like, write a curriculum for GED? Why would I do that? I was like, it's the book, But reluctantly, I did it. After I did it, I had an aha moment. I realized what I had created. And she was very happy. She was so happy about the curriculum that I wrote, she gave me a bonus. But that aha moment made me realize if I did it for someone else, I can do it for myself, okay? So when we're on these jobs and we're challenged to create, especially when you're challenged to create, take the challenge, because you just never know where God is gonna guide you in that process. So I did that. And so eventually I realized I could do this myself. I set up a GED class at a local church. He was a colleague and he was a pastor. And so he let me set up a GED class at the church. I set up a nonprofit. I started teaching GED out of his church. Well, the students started coming back asking questions because I didn't know they were business owners. And they were asking questions about the financial literacy part, because that part was really intense, because I was a math science person and I was in business. So it was financial literacy for their businesses. They started coming back and asking questions, and I realized I started consulting. So in the morning I would be teaching GED, and then I would have these students come back who graduated from the GED class and ask questions about their business. So I said, wait a minute, I need to set up an LLC now. That's how I started consulting. Now, building a $1 billion business. I started consulting. The first thing I started doing is, okay, what does a business need? What is the main thing that a business needs? Anybody knows? Money. Money. So, and it's simple. That's what I based my business off of. How to find the money to help people to build a business.